Well, I just got back from Ollie. He had some sort of practice tonight. I still got so much. Where'd those sheets go? So much stuff to do. My head is just spinning. You know what? I'm going to start this video by saying one thing. If I haven't got back to you, I truly apologize. This is the one time a year, this and when we start moving the horses all over the place, where I really, I forget to do stuff. I just get so much stuff to do. I feel bad every time somebody emails me, say, hey, I sent you a message the other day. I feel bad, but I would rather you did that. Send me back the email again, resend it, and say, hey, what do you think? Whatever the email happens to be. There's nothing I hate worse than forgetting to do something, especially when it comes to our clients. So super busy right now, finishing up all the staking stuff. We got our horses coming out, the buckets coming out in the next day or so. Just so much on the go, and man, I tell you what, it's certainly nice when you pick up your phone or turn on the TV and our horses are winning. A great mile from Tactical Mounds today. I called Mark. I'm like 30-3. What was going on there? He goes, Anthony, it was super windy. He said, watch the races. Just look at all the results. He said it was a good mile for a filly off 3 weeks. And somebody had said to me yesterday, how would Spitfire be? Our horses don't generally go to the track short. Now, I really don't know what Megan did with her over the last 3 weeks, but clearly she put the proper amount of work into her, so thank you very much, Megan, for that. Filly looked good. Sit to the quarter pole to the front is the favorite, and go off and race good. Now, she has maybe one more start. I'm not sure if she gets another start before, I hope she does, before the kindergarten. Yeah, it's the 10th. She's got to get a start for the kindergarten. I'd like to get at least a start before the kindergarten. She's going to race in the fourth leg, and if they let her in the consolation grade, I think there's a rule about getting in the final. If 10 horses enter, less than 10 would have to enter in the final for any of her, Brace for Landing, or Landing Strip to get in. The rule is 2 starts in the kindergartens. We've only had 1. So their next start would be their first start in the kindergarten. I believe they're allowed in the consolation if they go with it, but we'll see. We'll see. You still have to race good. You still have to get them racing first. So Tactile Mounds was great day, and then what about Patrick DePrano? 50-1 on an autumn day. How good has it? How lucky have we been? We won the open pace at 2 tracks this week, 49-2 or 49-2, I think, with Cintra, and 50-1 with Patrick DePrano. We're pretty blessed. We're pretty lucky in that regard. Raced 2 horses in the open trot in Toronto the other night. We're very lucky right now, and I couldn't be more pleased. So, my day started today. I woke up at 8 o'clock, 7:45, 8 o'clock. No, it was earlier. Had to take the kids down to the bus stop at 8, so I must have been up at 7:30. Got the kids down to the bus stop, went directly to Tomiko Training Center. I trained Rito Sunshine, 213. She's about 3-4 weeks away. So is Absolutely 4. I trained her in 210. She's about, now that was in the jog cart too, but they're still about 3-4 weeks away. And then I trained Arches Rainbow on the race bike in 2.5. Now, I think she's going to miss the series that's coming up. I said, Harry, there's no rush. It's not the end of the world. It's not like it's a Sire Stakes final. It's a pop-up series type thing, It's not a pop-up. It's a harvest series or whatever. It's a couple $100 to put her in it. And I'm not going to worry about rushing her into the entire winter just to make the harvest series, so don't worry about it. She's probably a couple weeks away, I guess. She was pretty handy today. Harry would have a better idea of where she sits after tomorrow, the next day, than I would, but I was very happy with the way she trotted. Then I went to Mohawk. I had Carter Michael Dio to train. I had Aglaire AM to train. Now, Carter Michael Dio, we changed some equipment. James said he didn't like the way he was trotting the other day. He was throwing his head and acting up. I said, okay. I trained Carter in 56-4 off a half in a minute. Last quarter in 28-3, and it was very, very windy down the lane. That was a 27 and a piece quarter, easy. He was good. He was throwing his head a little bit starting out. He doesn't like the cord in his mouth, the snake cord in his mouth, but he's too hot. Like that day that Dave Miller won with him, he said he's too hot like that. So we've been working to work with him, to get him under control and let him relax. And I think he finally is. He's getting better. Now, the only downside is we're not going to be able to race him before the Breeders' Crown elimination next Friday. There's just not enough time. I can't train him in 56 on Tuesday, race him on Monday, back Friday. There's no classes on Saturday for him. I'm not taking him to a B track. So I think what we'll do is we'll just come back and train him in 2 minutes on Saturday and maybe go a mile and 2:10 on Tuesday. I know that sounds like, hey, he's not going to be tight, but Spitfire was. He was plenty tight. So I think this is the best course of action. Rather than rushing him into competition saying we have to get him raced, I think that would be a mistake. Dominic and I talked about it today. He said, well, we could race him Monday, back Friday. And I said, I don't want to do that to a 2-year-old. And I don't want to do that to one of our best 2-year-olds. Spitfire raced last week. This horse just trained the day after in 56 and a piece. And he did it the right way. So I'm not really worried. Carter Michael Dio is a super athletic colt. He is going to perform just well. If he looks like he can compete in those classes, I would rather have him a little fresh and in the right frame of mind than shipping him back from Kentucky to come here and race in the, after getting chewed up a little bit. There's going to be lots of those colts, a little dragging their tongues a little bit as we head into the Breeders' Crown. It will be the freshest, smartest horse that is ready. Spitfire is peaking perfectly. I'm happy with what I saw with Carter today. Now, Aglaire, she did make a little break in the last turn, but it was only because she was so hot. I had taken the cord out of her mouth and the earplugs off her, and I said, I just want to let her float along. I'm actually glad she made that little break in the last turn. She only did it because I was fighting with her. She was just too darn hot. Like that, had she not made a break, she was going to go mile about 54. So I'm glad she actually did, because she is going to qualify on Friday. It would be kind of hard to go mile 54 and then come right back 3 days later. That would be pretty tough on her. So I let her finish up hard. She went through the first turn really well. I was happy with what I saw. So Aglaire AM, we will try for a qualifier. She's such a frustrating horse. It's really feast or famine with her. And, that's what we have to deal with. She's in the middle, bobbing around, creeping over towards bad, creeping over towards good. When she's locked in good, she is a monster. And when she is over near the bad side, she is an holy terror. You can't do anything with her. She's making breaks. She looks terrible. She's somewhere. She's in limbo, coasting from one bumper to the other. I think we got her where we can get her qualified. If we get her qualified and get some confidence on her, look out. So that's where we're at with those two. Now, my day, as I said, started with Tomiko. Then I went over to Tomiko. Right after Tomiko, I went up to First Line, had 4 horses to train. That Carl off at Dad's. Dad, your horse is terrible. That's all. He's just not a very good horse. I think he's just a condition claimer. He's probably going in the preferred sale on Monday. He's just not that good. And then I trained the 3 2-year-olds that are coming back. First training trip back for my 1%, anchors up, and sipping on my shine. Sipping on my shine was good. It was quiet. The demons have gone. They appeared to have departed. Looks like he's got a brain in his head now. Cross your fingers. Knock on wood. He was good today. Mile and 30. Anchors up was good. Mile and 30. And the other little guy, Amy, went with him. Made a little break down the backstretch, but his left front foot's got a little heat in it, and he's got a splint left front. We are going to work on that and get it all cleared up in no time. So happy with the way they trained at Tomiko. Happy with the way they trained at First Line. Very happy with what I saw here. I know there's going to be some people saying, it's not a perfect situation. Listen, guys, we have them tight enough. You saw Spitfire last night. That was off 5 weeks. Don't worry about Carter Michael Dio. He'll be just fine. So with that, I'll let you guys go. I am going to go in, have a quick shower. Yep, going to shave. And then I'm off to Ohio. It looks like I'm not going to get there till 1 o'clock in the morning, but that's life. Up tomorrow to go with all the babies with Jason McGinnis and Jason Merriman and everybody in the burn. We got 5 horses, I think, to race. I think a Mordiner actually might be scratched. The vet just called me. Voice to text was he got his blood work back. His white count was 13.5. That is high. So he's got an infection. He's got an excuse, and he needs a good one for the way he's been racing. So I don't think he'll be racing. No, he won't be racing tomorrow. A Mordiner will be scratched. We got to get him under control also. A couple of these horses, they're not going to be good enough to stay, and he's one of them. But we can't just sell him off a terrible line and a vet scratch sick. That's not going to fly. So I'd like to get a good line on him, good line on a number of these horses that may be going, and then they may have to go. As far as the ongoing discussions regarding Purple Aura, Sweet on Pete, Renegade Gypsy, and a number of the other horses, they are ongoing. I hope the people that have emailed me, understand the position I've taken. We've learned a lot over the last few years when it came to horses like Walk on the Moon and horses of that nature. That jump from 3 to 4, very, very difficult jump. And unless we're certain they can do it seamlessly, I think I'll err on the side of caution. Now, that doesn't mean anything is made up. Renegade Gypsy won in 53. We're going to watch him race for another few starts and see how he goes before we start worrying about what we're going to do. I think at Yonkers he'd be a killer, but he was a killer the other day right here. So we'll leave him right there if they're going to continue to write that class. Sweet on Pete and Purple Aura, also very fluid when it comes to Sweet on Pete. I told somebody the other day, we can't afford to keep her as a broodmare. We can't afford to turn down 60 to 80,000. That's what she's worth to race her to the end of the year and keep her to breed her. And I just don't think a horse with what's going to be closing in on 200,000 made lifetime at the end of this year and 11 parimutuel wins, there's just nowhere to race that horse. So I know a lot of people love them and say, oh, I love Pete. She's such a... Yes, she is. But we need to have places to race our horses in 2023. So these discussions are ongoing. I understand where everybody's coming from. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. I like all the horses we're racing. Maybe not Karlamov. Didn't really feel that good today. Not a very pleasant animal. But for the most part, you guys know, I joke, but you guys know that I love the horses we race. I get a lot of respect for them, the work they put in. I love Sweet on Pete, but I really love the stable.ca, and I want to make sure that we make the right decisions moving forward, and those will be information-based. That information has come from the past, and I think we all need to take a step back and look at what took place in the past to help us formulate a way moving forward for the future. So that's it. A great start to the week. We had Spitfire and Sailor last night. We had Patrick the Piranha today and Tactical Mounds today. Let's keep it going the rest of the week. Good luck, everybody. I'll talk to you on the other side of the border tomorrow. Take care.